Hi guys, welcome to my first eyeshadow tutorial. I'll be using this NYX palette. I will be linking all of the product descriptions down below with links for you guys as always. The first thing I'm going to do is take a drink of my tea because I am a tea fanatic. I love tea. I think the tea that I'm drinking right here is the Yogi Vanilla Spice for energy. I was really tired. This is what I'm going to prime my eyes with. It is the MAC Paint Pot in Painterly. I use this all the time to prime my lids. It really helps keep the shadows in place so it doesn't move. You don't get that crease that's there. The brush that I'm using is just a shadow brush by e.l.f. It's the angled brush. You can pretty much use any brush that isn't too dense or too difficult to manipulate the bristles. You want something that's kind of easy to maneuver and get all up in that eye area. So here I'm just kind of putting it on and rubbing it out. It is a bit thicker because it is a paint pot, so it's a little bit more difficult to blend on there, but you do want to make sure that even though this is a primer, you're not going to be leaving any too many harsh lines or anything like that. Basically what you want to do is you just want to get it all over everywhere that you're going to be putting shadow. As you can see, I am going up, hugging my eyebrow and bringing it down. I'm bringing it out to the ends of where my eyebrows are, kind of making that whole canvas just blank and prepped and ready for me to put eyeshadow on. And here I'm going to speed up the process on the other side just because, you know, this tutorial was already starting to go towards 20 minutes long, and I felt that was a little bit too long. It was originally about half an hour because I do my winged liner and all of my steps. It's just a full in-depth smoky eye, and I cut it down by like 2 or 3, no, not 2 or 3 minutes, by like 12 or 13 minutes. Right here, my husband had caught me doing my thing, and he was just kind of like looking at me and smiling, and it was cute and weird at the same time. So I told him to come and kiss me because I love him, and he was going to bed. I told him I was going to edit it out, but I didn't. There he is. He's so handsome. I love him. And back to doing eyes. So here I am, I'm just finishing up doing my primer on both of my lids. You can pretty much use any primer. I specifically like using the MAC Paint Pot just because it really works for me and I have it on hand. But there are a lot of primers out there that really work. If you'd like to know more details about that, you can email me. My email will be in the description bar below. We're going to start out with this shade, this lighter brown. That's the second in on my NYX palette on the top, and we're going to go just above our crease. I'm using this brush by Jessup. It's just a round brush. The bristles are pretty dense. I like using it just to pack on the shadow because I like the intensity that I get when I use it, because these matte shadows aren't as pigmented as I would like them to be, but they are pretty good. Then I go in with my MAC 224 brush. It's a blending brush, and I just blend out that line. And just, you don't want to have any harsh lines, especially when you're doing a smoky eye. You want it to be very subtle as far as blended. We are doing more of a subtle smoky eye, but with any smoky eye, you want to make sure that it's just very blended. You don't want to have any harsh lines. In the words of Jaclyn Hill, blend, 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 blend. Blending is your friend. I don't know if she actually said that last part, but she does talk about blending a lot, and so does Jeffree Star. Then we're going to go in with this Jessup pencil brush, and we're going to go in with this darker brown shadow. You can see I use it a whole lot because it's got that really deep hole in it. I speed this part up just because it really takes a long time for me to do my shadows, and drinking some more of my tea. But with this shadow, you're going to go right into that crease. You're going to try and keep it in that crease as much as you can. Try not to get it below that crease or above that crease. And then I kind of just line the very bottom of my lash line right there and lightly fill it in, just to have that base for when we go in with a different color later on. Right here, I just kind of go back and forth on both sides so I can get the line where I want it to be. I kind of go about 3/4 of the way in, maybe more of like 2/3. And then I get that same MAC 224 brush, but I make sure that I wipe it off or clean it off. And then I just blend it. I just blend it until it is nice and smooth and there's no harsh lines, but I don't want to lose the pigmentation of that color. So you can go back and forth between blending it and packing on more shadow. The best thing for you to do is to just go back in and put more shadow in when you feel like it's not as dark as you want, or if you want to keep it lighter, that's totally cool. Here I'm pretty cool with it. This is where I realized that I don't have my actual MAC palette that I really wanted to use. I was going to do just a natural everyday look, but then I decided, oh well, I'm not going upstairs, leg day kicked my butt, so I'm going to stay downstairs and just use my Morph or Morphe, however you pronounce it, palette. I think it's the 35S. I show it here in just a second. This palette right here, and there it is. It's the 35S palette. I'm going to be using 2 purple shades. The first shade is going to be on the very bottom, and it is more of a like burgundy color, that one that my finger's pointing at right there, the bottom one, and then that purple up there, the second from the top. And then the light purple right next to it, I will end up going in and using that to blend my transition colors in the purples because I felt it was a little bit too harsh. But here I go. I just take a flat e.l.f. brush that I have. I will link it down below, but it's just a flat brush, and I use it to just pack that first burgundy purple color all over half of my lid to where it meets that brown that I did before. I just kind of pack that on to the intensity that I really want it, and from there I just do the other side and make sure it's equally pigmented on both sides to where I want it. And then I only have one blending brush, so I have to constantly clean it throughout, but I go in with that same MAC 224 brush and I really just blend out those harsh lines. And if you feel like when you blend it, it's taking off too much product, you can always go back in and add more. It's better to be too light on product and add it on rather than to dump too much product on and realize you wanted it to be lighter. Because if you do that, then it's a lot harder to get off. Right here, I'm going in with that darker purple shade. I'm not going all the way into my inner corner because that's where I want that lighter shade to be. I'm leaving probably about a good 1/4 inch right there. It's mostly the center of my lid that I'm packing it on. I'm leaving the outer edge, that brown color, and the inner corner, that lighter burgundy purple. And then I go in with my blending brush and I just kind of blend it all out to the likeness that I really want it to be. You can see that it's kind of starting to come together. And right here is when I'm realizing that the purple, it's not blending the way that I want it to into that brown. So then I grab some of that lavender shade that's next to that darker purple we just put on right now. I will link the specific individual morph colors down below in the description bar. But this is just in my 35S palette, so if you happen to have that on hand, that's awesome. Here's where I'm going in with that lavender. I'm using my blender brush right here, and I am just lightly blending it in. I'm not putting too much product on my brush. I just want just enough to where you can have that light shade of lavender right there, so it's not contrasting with the brown. I wouldn't normally do the browns if I knew that I was going to be doing the purples. I would have just gone in with doing the lavender as a transition color. Here I'm using the L'Oreal Infallible, I don't know how to pronounce it. I think this is an iced latte. I will link it down below. I absolutely love this color. It is so pigmented. It is so amazing. I mean, look at that. It's so shimmery. It's not sparkly, it's shimmer. And it is absolutely gorgeous. You can put this on top of any color and it will literally be amazing. Like, you could put it under a color, you can put it on top of a color. Right here I'm just adding it into the inner corners of my eyes just for a little pop. You can see that where it goes on top of that purple, it's kind of turning into like a pink. I do drag it up just a little bit into that purple just to blend it, and then I blend it in ever so lightly with my blender brush. I will later on go with that same infallible shade, and I will do my brow bone. I believe next I do my winged eyeliner. I use the Maybelline, this eyeliner. It's the gel eyeliner that they have. I will link it down below. It is in the blackest one that I could find, and I'm just using the e.l.f. small angled brush. I really like it for my eyeliner, but my eyeliner is really starting to dry out because my daughter decided to dig half of it out and it's really dry. I speed this whole part up just because, you know, a lot of people do winged eyeliners and winged eyeliner tutorials. If you want more in-depth one, you know, feel free to comment below and I will do one. Basically, all I do is I just line my actual lash line first, and then I do my flick on the side. I go back and forth from having the longer angle out the way it is now and then turning it around. And you can't really see exactly what I'm doing, but what I'm doing is I'm making that little flick, and then I'm just connecting that end to the line that I already made on my lash line. And then I fill in the space that's there. I know you really can't see, and that's my fault for not really having a better setup here, but if you guys would like a more in-depth tutorial about doing winged liner, just leave me a comment below. I would be more than happy to do that for you guys. But you can see that I just go back and forth. Winged eyeliner to me is one of the most difficult things to do because I can never get it to look the same on both sides. One tip that I would suggest is you can get a piece of Scotch tape and just put it where it is you want that line to be. Make sure that you put it on like the back of your hand and take it off a couple of times so it's not super sticky and it's not going to rip off your skin. And then you just put that down right exactly where you want your line to be, and then you can pretty much be as sloppy as you want with it on the bottom, and you know, you take off that tape and it is the cleanest line ever. I just didn't do this here because I didn't feel like looking for tape. Right here I am taking just a little bit of my gel liner product and I'm going underneath my lash line on the bottom. I'm not going all the way halfway in. I'm barely going, I don't know, I'm going halfway between my outer corner eye to the halfway point of underneath my lash line, if that makes sense to you guys. Then I take that same burgundy shade and from the inner tear duct to meeting that eyeliner on the bottom and just a little bit over that liner, I'm using that burgundy color. I blend it in with my blender brush, and then I will be going in with that darker purple, and I will be mostly concentrating that where the black eyeliner is that I put on the bottom, just to give it that smoky effect, and I will be blending it out. You can do this as dramatic or as less dramatic as you want. This is the finished result of my actual eyes as far as color goes. Next, I will be doing my waterline, I believe, or I think I'm doing my brow bone actually. Yeah, I'm doing my brow bone with the same infallible shade. It's very, very pigmented, so be sure to remember that a little bit goes a long way with this. I literally don't have that much on my brush, and it is just super shiny, and it's all over the place. Not as far as fallout goes. It really doesn't have much fallout. It kind of just stays exactly where you put it. And then I go in with my blender brush and I blend it out, make sure there's no harsh lines, but I don't want to take off too much of that product, so I'm just lightly blending it to where it just has that nice seamless look. And then I believe next I go in with either my mascara or I go in with my waterline. Actually, neither one of those. I go in with my blush. This is the NYX blush in Rose Garden, I believe. It's the only blush that I really have. I really kind of like it because it's very diverse. If you use just a little bit of the product, you can have more of a lighter shade and it's more natural. And then if you go more heavy-handed, I went a little bit in the moderate section right here because I did have the purple shadows. I wanted it to kind of blend in and match the theme of my face. And let's see, what am I doing here? I don't know. Oh, here is the star of the show. My favorite mascara ever that I thought I lost, but then I found. It is Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. It is the most amazing mascara I have ever used. It is, I think it's $18 or $20. I bought mine at Sephora, or I think I bought it online. I can't remember. And I have never loved mascara more than I love this mascara. I can literally put it on and just use mascara and not have to put any falsies on, and it really volumizes my lashes. I like to do 2 coats. I do 1 coat on each side. This is me finishing up my second coat on the second side. I'm finishing up on the top. I do go in, I just kind of cut this part out because I hate it. It looks terrible. But I do the bottom lash line, and I believe after this is when I finally decide that I actually want eyeliner in my waterline. And I speed this part up too. It's pretty self-explanatory. I use the same brush that I do for my winged liner, and I just go in with the same gel liner and put it in my waterline. If you really want to make sure that it doesn't move, I skipped this step just because it was already running really long. But you can take a black shadow with a flat brush, and you can just pat it on top of the gel liner that you do in your waterline, and it will stay. So now we're on to lips, as I do a little dance and try and find where I put my lipstick. I go in with the NYX lipstick in Talia, I believe is what it's called, or 529 or 526. I flip it around here in just a second. There you go, 529. 529, and that's what I use. I like using the pointed part of it to line my lips first. I don't really have any lip liners. It's on my to get list, but for now, while I don't have any money to go and buy a whole bunch of lip liners, I just use the actual lipstick that I'm using, and I line my lips with the corner of it, and then I fill it in with the lipstick. When I finished with this lipstick, it really wasn't just doing enough for me, so I decided to go in with a different one. And here's where I'm kind of looking at it. I'm like, oh, that looks good, but I think I kind of want to do something else. And I pull out this little gem. It is MAC's Candy Yum Yum. Oh my gosh, I love this color. It's so vibrant. It's so fun. It's so neon. It smells so good. I love the smell of MAC lipsticks. It is addictive. I'm not going over my whole entire lip with this. I'm kind of making it like an ombre look. I'm just kind of centering it on the inner pout of my lip, if that makes sense to you guys. But I kind of kept it in the middle. Didn't really go too far to the edges. It adds just a little bit of depth. And here is the finished product. My hair's a mess. I was going to go do it, but I was way too tired at this point. I think it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, you know what? I'm so over this. I'm so done. But here it is. Here is my pink smoky eye. I think that it looks okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys could please remember to subscribe to my channel and leave comments, suggestions. Feel free to email me with any ideas that you have. I will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.